Hello. I wanted to talk about a very valuable skill for our dogs to learn and us to learn, and that's teaching our dog how to follow a hand target. Now, dogs, of course, their most keen sense is their sense of smell, but they're also very visual, and so this exercise of helping our dog to learn how to follow a hand target is very, very important because it's a clear and concise way of communicating with our dogs, and they can see that hand target very clearly. Now, the exercise is so good because the behaviour links in so beautifully with other real-world situations, everyday situations that are very common. And the most common instance is when we're asking our dogs to go to their mat. We can simply ask them to follow our hand in a specific direction and walk onto their mat, and so they can settle there and we can provide them with some nice things to do. Another real-world situation is when we might have our dog on leash and we're out walking. It's very useful to be able to use a hand target to ask our dog to follow that hand target and divert their attention away from something that might not be very desirable, and also to help them to choose to move themselves in a different location, so we don't have to physically put our hands on our dogs and get them to move that way. It's always good to give our dogs choice and not force them to move. So that's a really useful skill. And the hand target can also be developed into being able to perform an emergency U-turn, which is very valuable when you're out walking and something very unpredictable and unexpected happens. You can then do an emergency U-turn and you'll be heading off in the opposite direction to a safer distance from whatever situation might be occurring. Now, I wanted to show you first a little video. These are very short, but they are... The first video is just some footage of Marco and I when we were first learning this exercise together. And I want to show you what it looks like when you're first starting. You're going to be holding a food reward in your hand, just in front of your dog's nose, and you're going to be slowly drawing your arm away from your dog, which encourages them to follow that food and then step a couple of steps towards you. Now, as soon as that happens, as soon as your dog steps towards you, you bridge, and then you stop moving your hand, and then you reward your dog. And so this is just a few seconds of what this looked like and what it would look like from your point of view when you're first starting. Now I want you to pay attention to my arm position, and I'll just play that again because it was very quick. Okay, and so you can see, I'll play it again, my arm is in one plane. It's moving straight backwards in that direction. It's not being lifted or lowering. It's at Marco's eye line, so he can see it very well. And you can see that I'm not moving my hand too far, too fast. And I'm moving it nice and slowly for Marco, so he understands what I'd like him to do. I'll just play that again. Okay, so you can see that I stopped moving my hand as soon as Marco stepped out towards me and I bridged. Now with this exercise, it's really important to fade out the food lure, and that simply means once your dog is reliably following your hand a few steps, then, and doing this over a couple of sessions, then try a few repetitions of this without the food in your hand. But if you're having difficulty, then go back to practicing with the food in your hand and then try again without the food. So this is important to fade out the food lure, and I just want to show you another little video of Marco and I training this exercise so you can see, once again, slow arm movement in one plane, Marco's eye level. I'll play that again. And you see that the final hand gesture is your palm open. And we'll just play that one more time. Okay, so that's really simple. And so you can see there, and I'll just show you the other side as well, because it's really good also to practice with both arms and in different directions. And here we go, we're practicing with the right hand now, and this is fading out the food lure. Once again, you can see that hand gesture, nice and slow, and then just giving Marco the reward. I'll play that one more time. Nice and slow hand gesture, bridge, stop moving the hand, and then reward from my treat pouch. Okay, so I wanted to just show you another video. This is after Marco and I had built up some distance. This is over a number of sessions. So this is what it looks like when you can get a bit of distance and changing of direction. Offering Marco a start cue. As you can see, no food in the hand there. Changing direction very quickly. Bridge, and then I'm going to reward Marco. So that took several sessions to build up. So I wanted to show you another video. This is just where once again, I pressed record and just did a general training session with Marco. And this is a little bit of a bonus because I thought I might just practice putting Marco's leash on, offering him just a start cue there. Yes, he wants to interact with me, so that's great. We're going to try to put the leash on. Marco's a little bit excited there, so I'll just give him another treat. So he's having a bit of a sniff at the treat pouch, not really ready to focus on me yet. I'll give him a little bit of time just to calm down. And I'm just reaching out my hand. I'm stopping my hand because Marco's still unsure. Now I'm able to now clip on the leash. Marco's comfortable with that. That's really good, so we can start. Now you can see that looks a little bit different to when you're first starting out. And Marco's covering a little bit more distance there. I just want you to notice the clicker occurs when I'm stopping my hand. That's the behaviour I'm wanting to mark. And I'm repositioning myself so I can practice in different directions. And of course, this is just one arm. I'm doing the right arm in that direction. But I'm still getting a good range of different directions with Marco because I'm repositioning myself. And I've just asked Marco for a sit there just to break things up and make it more interesting for him. And he's performed a drop in a difficult situation, which is made difficult because of the flat surface. And I'm just asking for a stay. Gee, he did so well there. Good on you, Marco. That was very good. And I'm just going to give him a finish cue. And that's the end of that video. Good job, Marco. And so that's what it looks like when you've got a little bit more experience under your belt and your dog's understanding the exercise, and you can make a little bit more progress with the distance, and then you can start building on more distance from there. Now, this final video is just a real-world situation at an off-leash park. This is when Marco and I were filming for our off-leash park video, which you can see in the link in the description below. So you missed the hand target there because you couldn't see it in the video there, but I use the verbal cue this way with Marco. That's what I like to couple the hand target with. But you will see it again here. So Marco just is having a sniff, and he might check in with me, turn his head to check in with me, yep.
Marco, this way. Good boy.
There we go, so I've got Marco's attention, and then I've used a this way verbal cue with the hand gesture. I never rely on a verbal cue, I always rely on my hand gesture first. Couple the verbal cue with the hand gesture, but always rely on your hand gesture because once again, dogs are very visual, and sometimes if it's windy, noisy, you've got lots of different distractions, you know, your hand gesture is going to be much more eye-catching, and it's going to be able to get your dog's attention much, much better. And it's also helpful if you can teach your dog to check in with you, but I might work on a video on that topic later on. So that's just an overview of a very valuable skill of being able to teach our dog to follow a hand target. And I'm hoping that you can see the value in that skill, both from not just your dog's point of view, but from your point of view with respect to being able to start building a nice vocabulary that is clear and concise from your dog's perspective. And that vocabulary is basically based around hand gestures and unique hand gestures for different behaviours that your dog would like to perform. So once again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll talk again soon.